Hi there, I'm Amanda Fell and I am here at Nature Baby in Newmarket, and I'm going to be leading you through a beautiful prenatal yin practice today in collaboration with SALA Studio. Okay, so we're going to begin in a reclined butterfly position. So if you're at home, then just making sure that you've got enough pillows and cushions and maybe a couple of big books that you can use as blocks. And we'll get started. So we're just going to go ahead and bring the base of the spine right up to the back of the bolster. And you can have the feet just resting gently together, a nice wide open butterfly shape with the legs. And then just using the hands just to gently guide you down. And then letting the back of the head rest on the bolster, allowing the front of the chest to open. And the arms can either rest with the hands just on the belly if you're wishing to connect to your baby, or you can have the arms out to the side, palms facing up. And just closing down the eyes. And just drawing your attention to your breath. And just recognizing your natural breath and how that is for you today. Allowing yourself to connect and slow down. And just noticing the quality of your breath here. Just noticing maybe if you've been rushing around a little, if the breath is quick and sharp. Or if you're a little bit sleepy, tired, the breath might be heavy and slow. Just see if you can start to change that breath up a little by starting to take fuller, deeper inhalation and long, slow exhale. So our breath is like an invitation to our practice to tune in and to block out the outside world just for a little while and to calm the mind. And if your hands are resting on your belly, you might like to take the opportunity to connect to that life that's growing within you. It's the opening of this beautiful practice, this chance for connection to yourself, but also connection to your baby. Remembering as you breathe for yourself, your breath is also for your baby. And as you stay just a little longer, you might like to set an intention for this practice. And it might be an intention that is for you and your baby, or it might just be an intention that is for yourself. Could be one word, could be as simple as trying to remain present or focusing on the breath. Whatever it is, take some time with that intention now. Repeat it to yourself. And so the objective of a yin practice is to slow down, slow the mind, slow the body, and be really present within the moment. So each movement is going to be very gentle and mindful, the movement that we take to come into the next pose. So we're going to take our time just to release the hands alongside the body. Now, depending on how far through your pregnancy you are, you might like to draw the knees together off to one side to come up to a seated position and press through one hand. Or you might just be able to bring the palms slightly backwards and press to lift. Taking your time to get there, we're just going to come into a seated position. And bring the heels, if available to you, a little bit closer. Now, if you have any cushions or blocks or bolsters, whatever you have, you might like to rest them under the knees if you're feeling a little bit tight around the groin area. Otherwise, you can rest the hands either on the tops of the knees, you can anchor the hands just on the shins, or if you're a little earlier on in your pregnancy and you have a little bit more room, you might like to hook the hands just around the toes. But remember, we're always keeping space for baby. So we're going to take a nice deep breath in and lengthen the spine. Widen the collarbones, and as you breathe out, just allow everything to relax. So there's no effort to be here in the body. And then when you're ready, you might like to bring the body a little further forwards, but again, only if you have space for your baby. And rather than rounding through the spine, we want to keep the spine nice and long. And this is where, if you are at home, you might like a few extra cushions, some bolsters, and you can pad yourself up. And just allow the body to rest forwards. Again, if that feels too much, you can always keep the shoulders directly over the hips, anchoring the hands at the knees. So just allowing yourself to completely relax and let go here now. Relaxing the jaw, relaxing the muscles of the face. Allowing any stress or tension that remains in the body just to melt away with each and every out-breath. Perhaps just taking a scan through the body and recognizing where there might be any tension, anywhere else you need to let go. Just allowing yourself to be fully present within that process of letting go. Following the breath, the inhale and the exhale. And so we come into the three principles of our yin practice. And that first principle is the physical stillness. And through the physical stillness, we then allow ourselves to enter that second principle of yin, which is the slowing and stilling of the breath. And maybe not right away, but as you move further through your yin practice, you might find that eventually you reach the third principle of your yin, which is the slowing and stilling of the mind. And that comes through the practice of the first two principles, of the stillness of the body and the slowing of the breath. And we're just going to stay here now for another 3 full deep breaths. And our next yin pose will be one that's a little more fiery, a little bit more challenging to stay still within, but we will make sure that we give ourselves lots of support with the props and we won't be here for too long. So again, moving very mindfully, just slowly bring yourself back up, allowing the shoulders to relax as you lengthen the spine, and taking just a mindful breath or two here. And again, just being very mindful of the way you move your body through pregnancy as well. So you might like to just gently bring the hands behind you, draw the knees together. To first come into a kneeling position, and we will take a block and we'll start with it up on the highest side. And we're going to come into a little squat. So you might like to just maneuver yourself around with the toes facing outwards to the corners of the room. And first of all, just allow your seat to rest on the highest edge of the block or a cushion, 2 cushions, whatever you need to support yourself here. You might like to rest the hands just on the tops of the knees, or you can bring the hands to rest in a prayer at the heart space. Now, if this feels okay for you, and you can go a little bit deeper, then you might like to try flipping your block around to the next level or even the lowest level. And again, if you're not working with a block, the cushions, you might like to remove a cushion. So our malasana, our yogi squat in a yin way, adopting this pose in a very yin-like approach. So just centering yourself with the breath, allowing the breath to move through the body, bearing in mind that in pregnancy we do have a lot of the hormone relaxin in the body, so you might feel a little more flexible than what you usually are. Try not to dump into that flexibility too much or overextend yourself. You want to be in a place where you know that you can stay for a little while, so about 60% of your range. So you feel this beautiful gentle opening into the body. And that is the beauty of our yin, is that we have time to simmer in the pose and allow the body just to gently melt into position. You might like to close down the eyes here if you find that you get distracted by the world around you. And again, turning that attention inwards, pratyahara. And withdrawal of senses of the outside world. And again, find perhaps in the body where you're gripping, where you're holding on, where can you allow yourself to let go and be present and soften. And if you've got to this point and you find that your body has given you a little more space after being here for a while, You might like to try removing the block or the cushion, whatever it is you're working with, or just turn it down to that lowest level. As we stay for our last 5 breaths this time, long extended breaths. And then when you are ready, really slowly, just allowing the hands to release. Now the hardest part can sometimes be coming out of a pose like this, especially if you are quite far through your pregnancy. So take your time. You might like to press through the thighs. You might like to just rock the weight gently forwards and lift the seat up. And just come to a standing position for a moment as we just soften through the body. Just allow the weight to come back through the soles of the feet. Allow the legs just to lengthen. You might like to open the palms, open across the collarbones, and take a few deep breaths. Staying in that awareness, staying in that yin space of your practice. When you're ready, again, moving mindfully, moving slowly. We're going to take ourselves back down to a seated position on the mat. Make sure that all of your props are within reach. Allow the legs to open out to the corners of the room. Just making sure there's enough space for your baby. Now, if you do find that the hamstrings are quite tight, then you can bend the knees and you can take cushions or blocks, books, whatever you have, just underneath the knees to prop yourself up. So we're coming into our dragonfly pose now. And you might like to even just stay with the shoulders right over the hips and close your eyes and just allow the body to melt in here. If you do find that you can keep the spine lengthened and you can keep space for your baby, then you might like to just gently allow the body to come forwards, but of course we are going to do this supported, so we can always use our props here just to keep the body upright. You might like to go on this way with the forehead resting. You might like to come in this way. If you're working with pillows and cushions at home, then layer them up. And as you arrive here, just allowing yourself to stay present within the body. With each and every breath, you allow yourself to soften. And perhaps as we are coming a little deeper into the hips here now, into that groin area and around the pelvis, we can start to think about that connection between the jaw and the pelvis. Maybe relaxing the jaw, perhaps you didn't even recognize that you were holding any tension there. So just bring awareness to the jaw, relaxing the jaw. And so in turn, we allow the pelvis to soften as there is a neuromuscular connection between the jaw and the pelvis, and the throat and the birth canal. So we can bear this in mind as perhaps we prepare ourselves as we move into labour. And that's a really beautiful thing to remember that. neuromuscular connection. So as you relax the jaw and you soften, deepen, lengthen the breath, that it allows that birth canal to do the same for our baby to come through. And again, as you simmer into the pose and you spend some more time here, you might find that the body opens, it gives you a little more space. And if there's space to go deeper and space for your baby that allows you to go deeper, then absolutely give yourself that space. Noticing perhaps what comes up for you in the stillness. And sometimes the hardest part of yin practice is just being still, just allowing the physical body to remain still and resisting the urge to fidget, to move, to go deeper, just staying present and calm and deepening the breath. As you stay a little longer, maybe start to think about how you might mindfully move the body so the thought of the movement comes before the actual movement. And when you're ready, very slowly you'll just start to restack the spine. Shoulders come back over the hips, taking a moment. And then we're going to open up into each side of the body in our dragon pose. Our dragonfly, I should say. So we'll open up those lateral lines. So again, you might like to use your bolster here. You can even use a block as well. So you might like a block just to rest the elbow on and just to cradle the head. Now you might like to gently just open through that left side of the body. If it feels okay, you can allow the arm to come and rest over the top. But again, no effort to be here. So if you need to bring the arm down, totally fine. If there's a little more flexibility here to go a little deeper, you can always bring the bolster just in front of the leg and then allow the arm to drape over top. Just seeing how that feels for your body, for your growing body. Knowing that things might feel a little different to how they usually do. Allowing yourself just to gently soften and simmer into the pose. Utilizing your breath. And if any tension arrives within the body and you feel that perhaps you have gone a little too deep and it's somewhat challenging to stay there, or you feel the body tensing and pulling as you stay longer in the pose, then just soften, give yourself more space. Remembering that this yin practice is not about a workout, it's about the work in. And the beauty of a practice like this is that through our breath, we allow ourselves to enter the parasympathetic nervous system. So we come away from the fight or flight and we enter our rest and digest. And this is just such a beautiful practice for yourself, but also a really lovely gift to your growing baby. As you are calm, then your baby is calm as well. Let's just stay on this side for another 3 full deep breaths. And then at the end of your 3rd breath, very slowly, mindfully, you'll start to restack the body, bringing the shoulders back over the hips. Beautiful. Taking a moment at center, just aligning yourself with that breath. And when you're ready, just softly moving into the opposite side. So coming along that left leg now. Setting yourself up with your props as you did on the other side, but knowing how your body is and how it is feeling today. Maybe it might need more space. Perhaps you might be working with an injury or less space on this side, so we can always provide more support if needed. As you arrive here, just maybe recognizing again where the body needs to let go, where you could be holding any tension, just having that little physical scan. And you'll notice this beautiful calming sensation arising within the body as you come deeper into your practice. And perhaps this is taking effect on the mind now as well, as you have slowed down and taken time to be in the moment and be present. Let's just stay a little longer, marinating in the pose. Allowing the breath to move through the body. our last 3 breaths on this side. And then slowly, when you're ready, you're going to take yourself very mindfully back up to that same seated position. Taking a few mindful breaths here at center. The next pose which we are going to set ourselves up for is a modified banana asana. So we're going to come a little bit deeper into those lateral lines of the body, just to open up the side body and the rib cage and get into the thoracic spine a little, all areas which become a little bit tight through pregnancy. So gently you'll just move the bolster or cushion pillow off to one side and just draw the legs back together. So we'll take that front leg and swing it around to the back. And you can just start by taking yourself onto your left side and then slide your bolster or your pillow, whatever you're working with, around about the bra strap level. So when you come to lay down, it'll be around that bra strap level, the side of the rib cage there. So slowly you're going to take yourself onto your side. Now let the legs just be comfortable. So you might want a soft bend into the knees. And then we'll just allow the arms to relax alongside you. You might like to take a block just to allow the head to relax on the side there. You might like to bend the elbow and have a little bit more support. Again, it might be enough for you opening up through the side body just here, but if it feels okay, you're going to go ahead and take that right arm up over the head and literally just let it dangle over the top of the head. So body is fully supported here. Starting to really open up through that side body. If you would like to go a little bit deeper, you can take yourself up a little higher, bring your cushion or your bolster a little bit closer towards you, a little bit lower down, and you might like to take your head all the way to the shoulder and then bring the right arm over the top so you get a deeper stretch through that side body. Once again, coming into your breath, allowing the breath to move through the body. And feeling into the opening of this right side body, which is our yang side, our more masculine side. So just noticing the energy that might be resting there. And we'll just take 3 more full, deep breaths on this side, not spending too long opening deep into the sidelines of the body, just enough to provide some release. the end of your next breath, so slowly and mindfully, you're just going to bring yourself to roll onto your back as carefully as you can. So you might like to lift the body up first. Leave the bolster or the cushion where it is, and then just turn yourself to come to lay on the right side. So again, place the bolster where you feel it will be most comfortable. If you want to go for a deeper opening, then you might not have a block underneath the head or a cushion. Opening through the left side body now. And as you were here, just recognizing the difference between each side of the body. Taking that time to really feel how each side of the body is for you in this moment today. Allowing the breath to create space. As you spend a little bit more time here, just feeling into that left side energy, our more feminine yin side. And as we start to close off this practice now, you have two options today for your relaxation, your Shavasana. You might like to just gently bring yourself back up to seated position if you're coming to rest on your left side. So you can come down to rest on that left side with the arm lengthened long. And perhaps you have a cushion, a block or a bolster just in front of the body, just to bend the right knee so there's lots of space for your baby, space for your belly. But again, if you're a little further through your pregnancy, sometimes it can feel more comfortable to be in that supported reclined position again. So a couple of options for you here today. And just allowing the breath to slowly move through the body as you completely let go here now. Complete calm, total relaxation now as you allow the breath to move through the body. Solidifying your practice. And as you stay a little longer in your relaxation today, you might like to bring one hand to rest of the heart, perhaps your right hand resting on your baby. And developing that beautiful connection again with that life that is growing inside of you. And as you feel your own heartbeat, perhaps you can connect to your baby's heartbeat as well. And lastly, allowing yourself to remember the intention that you started this practice with. We'll take some time to repeat that to ourselves again now. And when you're ready, you can bring some soft and gentle movement back into the body. Maybe softly wriggling the fingers and the toes, bringing some awareness back. Keeping in that beautiful yin state, mindfully bring yourself back up to a seated position. Your legs crossed in front, the eyes still closed. Bringing the hands to rest together at your heart space. We'll take one last breath here together. A full deep breath in through the nose. Long, slow, grounding breath out. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining us here today.